Good morning, CVCC. Thank you so much for inviting me so warmly and welcome. And thank you, Reverend Francis, for welcoming to your house. And of course, let us welcome the King of all kings, the King of this house, Jesus, right? So with that, before we begin, let's start with a prayer, right? So, Father God, we just want to welcome you into your house, your temple, that you take your throne, your place as this King of all kings. Father, we just pray that as the word goes forth, as my story that you have written, Lord, as it goes forth, Lord, Father, let it touch and sow seeds in people's lives, Lord, that people those who are not close to you, is drawn away from you. Father, may they come close and that they may know that they are a child of the High King. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right, thank you. So may I have my slides? All right, sweet. If you only live twice. So how many of you have watched the James Bond movie, If You Only Live Twice? Maybe a few of you guys. Okay, I saw a few hands at the back. All right. Are you ready? Let's go. So, before we talk about living twice, we have to talk about living once, right? So, it's a very millennial term, very young punks term, right? What YOLO? YOLO defines, the definition of YOLO is a life that is very meaningless and reckless, because you only live once. That's why you have to live life fast, on the fast lane, right? You gotta just go all out and do whatever you gotta do, right? That's YOLO. And that was me. So this is not me. This is in Chiang Mai, Thailand, on a stranger's motorbike that I got on, and he took me like 30 minutes away from the city, and I could have sworn I was getting kidnapped. My heart was beating so fast and cold sweat, but praise the Lord, like I'm not kidnapped, I'm still here, right? But yeah, it's a stranger's motorbike. This was a stranger's home in Australia, Melbourne, Australia, that I slept on whose couch. So it's like, okay, you kind of see a pattern here, right? This wasn't a stranger's home, but this was Cambodia. So I wanted to go on a glorious adventure, right? Cambodia, Myanmar, and Vietnam for 2 weeks. My 2 weeks lasted for 1 day. The last thing I remember in Cambodia was riding on the road safe and sound, and my memory goes dark. And I wake up in Singapore, which I'll tell you in a bit. So to explain what happened, I'll show you this video right here.
What does it mean to YOLO? To live every day to the fullest, because life is too short for regrets. Like not playing poker and getting drunk at 3 a.m. in the morning with the guys, and well, basically going all in. Hello you, my name is Jason, and this is my story. It was not the first time I went backpacking alone overseas. The idea of waking up whenever I want and going wherever I choose is just the best feeling ever. I didn't think it was going to be any different this time, exploring Cambodia. I couldn't be more wrong. The last thing I remember of my trip was riding on a nice, peaceful road, and then nothing. Pitch black darkness. I had retrograde amnesia. My mind wiped out all the memories of the accident. Apparently, I went head-on into the back of a SUV, cracking my collarbone and left femur, dislocating both my knees, ripping my ACL and PCL ligaments apart, and suffering third-degree burns as my bike exploded. I fell off the grid, and for 10 days, my friends and family could not contact me. It was only after a series of incredible and practically impossible events that could only be orchestrated by the big man above, I was finally found and brought home.
Jen, go back Singapore, dear. Jen, go back Singapore already. Go back Singapore. Go back Singapore.
Go home in Singapore.
I was drifting in and out of consciousness for an entire month. When I finally came to, I couldn't remember anything. In that time, my friends, beautiful family, and incredible parents went through hell, having to watch me almost slip away one too many times and being unable to do anything about it. I had put everyone through tears and heartbreak because I decided to YOLO. I was living to the fullest, without care for the incredibly selfish consequences that hurt everyone else so much more than me. I thought going home meant that the ordeal would be over, but it brought a whole new set of challenges, the least of which was physical. It was struggling with the simple things like taking a shower or making my own breakfast. I had lost my pride, my dignity, and my independence. It took some time, but I realized there was no point being upset about what I could not do. Instead, I should choose to focus on the many things I could still control. This experience opened my eyes to the suffering of other trauma patients. It made me realize how easy it is for us to take the little things for granted, like having two hands to put on a shirt yourself. To those who are going through or have gone through dark times, you are not alone. You never have been, and you never will be. It may be frustrating, but hang on and persevere. Fight the good fight. It will be worth it. For the rest of us, you don't have to go through an accident to finally wake up and realize that it's time to stop taking things for granted. I mean, no one is perfect. We all slip up, myself included. As cliche as it sounds, life really is too short. In our own ways, we do try to make the most of our everyday. But if you don't live for something, you'll die for nothing. Take it from me, I would know.
Give it up for Jesus. So what was my biggest lesson from all of that? My biggest lesson was this: you only live once, and then you die. I think what we forget, the fact that we all die is something we all know here, intellectually, right? But I think it's something sometimes some of us may forget here. We don't live as if we're going to die. We take our mortality for granted and we do different things. There's no sense of urgency to live for what? To live for, to live in what's most important. So what the video did not share was how the last thing I remember in Cambodia, as I mentioned earlier, was riding on the road safe and sound, and then how nothing, pitch black darkness, and waking up in Singapore. What I don't remember till this day is how the green light went up. I moved my motorcycle forwards. The car comes from the side, knocks me down, bam. He goes off as if nothing happens. I pick up my bike, and I give chase. Wait, where's the vroom vroom? Okay, there's no vroom vroom. Sorry, kept the audio. Okay, let's pretend there's a vroom vroom vroom. He brakes, and I crash into his back. Boom. My motorcycle flies into the back of his car. I smash through the back window. I roll on the floor unconscious. The bike explodes. I hit my head. I cracked my left collarbone. I had dislocated my knees, cracked my left thigh bone. And it was a wreck. It's basically it was a wreck. So 10 days after, so the accident happened on the first day, right? It was just very incredibly sad. I didn't even get to see Cambodia at all. So my parents asked me, hey, son, remember to tell us when you're, say hello every night and tell us you're safe, right? So I'm like, okay, sure. So when I landed, I told them that, hey, I'm checking into this hotel. But of course, that night when my phone probably exploded with the explosion, I was unable to reply them, right, obviously. And so on day one, day one, the night, no text. Day two, no text. Day three, no text. By day four, mom was obviously like, mother's instincts, right? Mom's like, hey, something wrong, lah. Like, then my dad is like, maybe dad's instincts like, ah, you naughty boy, lah, that on, lah. So mom's like, oh, okay, lah. Then my mom, like, they continue to do their things. So at that point in time as well, my mom was at their respective. My mom, she was very busy at her job. So she was a teacher at the Cerebral Palsy Alliance Singapore. So one of her students' family got into trouble and stuff like that. So she was very distracted as well. So by day 5 and day 6, about there, mom is like, something is wrong, And so dad was like, yeah, I think something is up as well. In fact, my dad, I think women are stronger emotionally, according, as seen by my mom, right? Because I think my dad, while he showed a very brave front, but I think emotionally, he was also gone, because when my dad is a manager at an F&B outlet, so when the staff did something wrong, he scolded backward, F word, some simple things also cannot do, So everyone was like, whoa, something is up, yeah. So finally, in day 10, my parents decided, okay, this is too long already. So they put on Facebook, hi, Jason's friends, Jason is missing. So what happened was actually a group of people here, it's in here, my previous church, they come visited me today. They started to, so can I have the slides? They prayed. They prayed overnight. They started to pray overnight. For a long period of time, I'm not sure how long, but it was a 24-hour chain, if I'm not wrong. And my family gathered together. This was my dad's side of the family. Because my mom is Bruneian, and I kind of grew up in Brunei. But so this is my dad's side of the family who actually gathered, and he's like, what can we do? We have to just do our best, do whatever we can. And one of those things was, they put on Facebook, right? Hi, Jason's friends, Jason is missing. So this is how my previous church was alerted as well and really, truly intervened in the spiritual sense. So because of this is where it gets pretty exciting. So again, I'm Singaporean, but I grew up in Brunei. So my ex-neighbor from Brunei, right? My childhood friend, my childhood neighbor from Brunei, he saw the Facebook post, he got worried, so he called his brother who was holidaying in Australia. He said, hey God, Jason is missing. Then the brother's like, oh no. Okay, he probably said bad words, but I'm not going to say here, right? It's like, oh no. Then he's like, hey God, do you have any friends in Cambodia? So he had to rack his brain for a while, and he remembered, oh yes, we have a friend in Cambodia who's working in Cambodia. So my dad, the brother's dad, and his friend, actually, my dad, the brother's dad, and this guy's dad were colleagues in Brunei. So this guy, he's the one who picked up the phone and he's like, oh, okay, I'll try to help him. So this guy called the Singapore embassy called the hospitals. The third hospital picks up, say, yeah, we have this unidentified foreigner. It's either Chinese or Japanese. Because my bed was so messy, right? So the guy found me. And this is the guy. Yeah, I should have just put his face yeah. So he's Singaporean as well, working in Brunei. His dad was working in Brunei, and he was working in Cambodia. His name is Israel. Israel in Hebrew actually is Yisrael or something or something of that sort. And El actually means God. And Isra in a sense, I think it means suffering. So, I mean, before Israel was Israel, he was Jacob. And when Jacob encountered the Lord and he was wrestling with the Lord, he was struggling with the Lord. And then the Lord said, you have a new name and I call you Israel. And I think that is the demonstration of what was to come, the nation of Israel and the people of God. Right? It's not a walk in the park. I mean, the truth is that the Christianity is not a walk in the park, and there is a lot of, there is struggle, you know, we're still human because we haven't gone back to the Lord just yet, but the fact is that we don't struggle alone, we struggle with the Lord. Yeah. So, I think it's, in a sense, it's kind of prophetic, and it's kind of very symbolic. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's very symbolic how Israel was the one who found me. Yeah. So that was just how I was found. And when they found me, I was found in like practically this state. So when I was found, I had like I was brought back to Singapore, which I'll share with you in a bit as well. There's a lot of crazy things that happened. So this guy, I call him half Jason, because the fact is that I don't remember anything, right? The last thing I remember, safe and sound, in Cambodia, darkness, wake up, SGH, 40 days later. Yeah, I wake up 40 days later, but apparently the nurses in Cambodia say that, actually, you woke up on day 10. So I'm like, okay, wait, so from day 10 to day 40, then who is this Jason that is apparently awake? Now, I have this joke, right? Like, you know, if you go drinking and then your friend licks the wall. No, then your friend, the next morning you wake up with a hangover. Then your friend's like, hey, bro, you licked the wall. Then you're like, what are you talking about? Then it shows you a video of you, like, licking the wall. Then you're like, oh, man. You are still conscious, but you do, like, you know, you do things that you don't remember. And you do things that you don't normally do when you're drunk, right? So I had that kind of encounter, lah. And for me, a lot of crazy things happened in that period of after the 10 days to 40 days. So one of those things was, even when I was wearing this thing, when my parents, they got back home at 2 a.m. already, and of course they really couldn't sleep in that period of time. I mean, you should hear it from my parents yourself, how learning about their son and how the doctor said that, no, he's not getting out of the woods anytime soon. It's really not easy as a parent. I can't imagine because I'm not a parent. I am the burdened son, lah, right? But yes, so at 2 a.m., my parents just got home and they were trying, you know, just getting into to sleep. When 4 a.m., the nurses called. They say, sir, ma'am, your son fell from the bed. I didn't, so wearing all these things, right, and on top of that, I was chained, like not chained, like they used the cloth and they bound me to the bed. You know why? Because this tube, I had gone crazy, I pulled it out. And it's very interesting, I said, I don't want to be Hindi, then I pull it out. It was just very weird, like I don't remember saying it, but yeah. So, yeah, when I did that first, then they bound me to the bed. But even when they bound me, I slipped out. Somehow I shuffled my butt over, and I toppled over the bed. Yeah. So I don't remember doing this. I had flashes and dreams, kind of doing this. So it sounds like it's like a first-person dream, you know, first-person movie. But it was just really interesting, lah. So I think one explanation I have for that is that, you know, we are body, right, our physical body, and we are soul, which comprises of our emotions, our our mind, our thoughts, and our will, right? But we are also one more thing. We are spirit. And I personally believe, I have no evidence for this, unfortunately, but I personally believe that in that period of time, just right before, on that motorbike, I believe the Lord just like, he knows what's going to happen, right? So he plucked me out first and put me in his pocket. Because I remember darkness, right? So his pocket like very dark one. I don't know why. So I don't remember anything. And then finally so in that period of time, when my body was there, my soul was there, right? But my spirit wasn't. So it was an empty shell. Imagine like a car, right? You have a car, your car has the engine. So the shell of the car is your body, the engine is your soul, and the spirit is the driver. So in my car, which was running, there was no driver, and I think my car is a, what do you call it? Tesla car, yeah, it's an automatic one. So it was able to function, right? I could remember my parents' names, probably my sister, but even my cousins, I couldn't. You know, people like friends who visited me, I don't remember them. Like, hey, how are you? Welcome again, something like that. So those are things that they told me lah. So it's very interesting that point of time. So yeah, I caught on fire. So these are third-degree burns on the right half of my body. So actually, my friends, I have a bunch of friends who ride motorbikes, and they asked me, wait, your motorbike exploded? This is practically all of them, because actually I wonder, and does any one of you ride motorbikes here? Is there anyone? Oh, you ride motorbikes. Like you would think, you will agree, would you agree that bikes don't really explode? Right? You agree, right? Bikes don't really explode. I mean, it's got to do with the fact that, it's a diesel bike, it's a very old one also lah. But the chances of it exploding is very low. So how did it explode like that? I have no explanation, but a spiritual answer that I have for you is maybe this was like my touch of hellfire. You know, maybe like I escaped by the clutches of hell. Yeah. So you might be wondering, okay, wait, so that's how you was found, right? But Jason, I don't get how you know what happened to you. Make sense? You blacked out for 40 days, and you wake up. You blacked out you were riding safe and sound. You wake up 40 days later. How you know what happened to you? How do you know that you got knocked down and you chased the car, and then exploded? How? So this is the fun part also. So this is me. This is my then church pastor, Pastor Vincent. And so after I've been found, which is by the grace of God, Pastor Vincent, he called his one friend in Cambodia by the name of Craig. So it's like, hey, Craig, Jason is in this hospital. Craig's like, oh, amazing, thank God. Craig runs a non-profit in Cambodia. So Craig goes down to the hospital and he asks the doctor, hey, doctor, can I see Jason's medical records? So on the computer screen, the doctor, press enter, the screen said Jason Lim. That's my surname. Yot is not my surname. Death certificate. So it's like, what's this? He's alive. Then the doctor says, oh, it's a mistake. And then pastor changed. So I don't have a photo of like the death certificate. So that's why I don't only live once. I only live. Yeah, that's right. Oh, but that's not the best part even. The best part was 2 weeks after the incident, the hospital was under investigation. It came out in the Phnom Penh newspaper. The hospital was under investigation for organ harvesting. So for the younger people here, I think there's a few young ones. Organ harvesting is when you don't have money lah. When you need to feed your family. You have no sources of money. This is the worst thing that you can do. This is the only thing some people can do. When you have $5,000 on your left and $5,000 on your right. And I think we're so blessed to not have to sell any of the parts of Yeah. So it's really crazy how this thing happened. So this is Craig, right? Craig, he's like, oh, this is crazy. So he's New Zealander. I don't have a New Zealand accent, but I'll just do an Australian one. Like, it's like, guys, so he goes back home, right, to his like center. Then it's like maybe 10 people. Then he's like, oh, guys, just came back from the hospital. And it's like, oh, it's crazy, mate. It's like 10 days ago, it's motorcycle explosion. It's like, boom. So all 10 people was just like, it was like, oh, that's crazy. But then out of 10 of them, one of them said, wait. 10 days ago, motorcycle explosion. I was there. This is Dory pointing to the exact spot he had seen me on fire that very night. It didn't happen at like 3 p.m., and 3 p.m. in Cambodia, the traffic is ridiculous. So there'll be a lot of people, could be a lot of witnesses, but my accident happened at 11 p.m. And at 11 p.m. means there's nobody on the roads. There were only 2 witnesses. How many witnesses? This guy did what most Cambodians would do, which is you mind your own business. Actually, how many of you have been to Cambodia, I wonder? That's a number of you. So I think you guys might know, right? Like at night, there's nobody on the roads. So 2 witnesses, this guy did what most Cambodians would do. He, mai kepo, mind your own business. So he left the scene. Yeah, he left the scene. So how many minutes we left with? How I know what happened to me is that my pastor in Singapore, I only had one pastor. I think he only had one friend, which is Craig. His one friend in Cambodia. Out of his so many members, the single member just so happens to be Dory. Do you happen to have an ex-neighbor, do you happen to have a pastor who's got a friend who's got a member in Cambodia? Probably not, right? Okay, maybe some people have, but it's not impossible because this is how it happened. But I think it's pretty impossible to explain. And I think our God, my God, and most of us God here, he's a God of the natural and using the natural to create the supernatural. And although we don't really see a lot of things in life, we haven't seen the sea split in a while, but I believe God is still doing miracles today. Yeah. So when I was finally found, so this was me. This is my doctor who sent me back to Singapore. So what happened was that my family, he actually called, my dad called back to Singapore and said, hey, we need to get Jian, this is my Chinese name, we need to get Jian back to Singapore ASAP. So my cousin was like, okay, let's see how I do it. So he arranged, everything happened, and my doctor arrived in the afternoon and got me back home in the evening. So if you're not from the medical line, you might probably say, wow, that's very fast. That's like, wow, that's amazing. Singapore standard, very good. But I wonder how many of you might be from the medical line. And is anyone? Yeah, there's one. There's a few. So if you're a medical line, you might know if the emergency evacuation, this is not fast. This is impossible. Here's why. Because for you to have the emergency evacuation, because for emergency evacuation, you don't need to plan, right? You just fly in that sense. To have that, the emergency evacuation, you need to back it up with a medical certificate. Your flight permit must be connected with a medical certificate. Then you can prove it's emergency. That's why the airport can allow you to fly. So how did my doctor do that? Here's how. So this is my cousin in Singapore. She's very pretty. She's like, she's damn young, but anyway. She called her one friend at 6 a.m. It's like, hi, I think her name is Kathy. Hi, Kathy. My cousin is in Singapore. Can you please help me? So my cousin knew that Kathy was in the medical line of some sort. Kathy replied, said, I'm so sorry I got back to you so late. I'm in Australia now. I cannot help you, but call this doctor, Dr. Charles. Dr. Charles to help you. So she connected my cousin to Dr. Charles, and she's like, so my cousin called Dr. Charles. Dr. Charles, my cousin, is in Cambodia. He really needs your help. Can you please fly there? Dr. Charles said, which hospital is he in? So my cousin said, he's in this hospital. So then Dr. Charles said, okay, can. He puts down the phone, gets his team ready, and flies off in the afternoon. You might be wondering, wait, don't you need a medical certificate for that? That's what I said, right? This is how he got it. Because Dr. Charles just so happens to have the contact of the director of the hospital that I was sent to that night. That was not my choice. So who chose to send me to this hospital whose director just so happens to be friends with this doctor who is connected to this friend of my cousin? So I just want to say that I didn't know all of this. I didn't choose any of this. So I wonder who did lah. So I need to show off a bit, right? So my story has been featured on Taobao, Straits Times.
It was very frightening. He might not be able to make it.
Okay, I think the order came out wrongly.
On
Sorry.
the Red Dot, Friday, 9:30 p.m. on Channel 5.
And my story has been featured on the Red Dot on Trouble Abroad as well. So it's a 22-minute documentary. And yeah, because I wrote this book at the back, which you can't see, that's my bad. So the book behind says, if you only live twice, right? And what I wanted to say is that this is my story, definitely. I mean, I'm the guy who got flown off the bike and all of that. But I wanted to point your attention to this one. So it says here the author is Jason Yo. But the true author is not me. Yeah. So in this episode of On Trouble Abroad, on the Red Dot and Trouble Abroad, I actually went to Cambodia and actually had this scene. It gets better, right? Can you guess who this guy is? He is the guy that knocked me down. He drove off. I picked up my bike, and whose car I chased, who braked, and I smashed into. He is the driver that night. This is me like 4 years after, and I mean the documentary was done last year. So you might be wondering, wait, I mean if you were me, if you put yourself in my shoes, like if you're just a Singaporean, normal Singaporean kid, how on earth are you going to track down a guy like that from an accident that happened 4 years ago, right? Like what resources do I have? Like my family not loaded with like cash and all those different things. So how, right? So it happened with this guy. So I call him my mentor, my teacher. And how I got there, how I got to know him was incredible as well. So the first time I went to Cambodia was the accident, right? The second time I went was with my church, New Life Community Church, my current church that I went to. They have a New Life, there's a New Life Singapore and there's a New Life Cambodia. Yeah, and I really believe it's divine orchestration because it is when I went to New Life Cambodia to share my story that I met him, Mr. Sopal. So I called my mentor. My mentor, I need to find this guy. I need to find this guy. Can you help me? He's like, okay. So my mentor just scrolls through his contacts and dials the chief of traffic police Cambodia. He's like, he probably sent his kakian, right? His lower friends. It's like, guys, I have the car plate number, which is a big help. So he gets the car plate number, digs out his this poor guy's address and his number and everything, and I was like, I've got everything already. Then my mentor just personally goes down to his house and arranges this entire interview. So this was after my story was written, my storybook came out, right? So my story isn't done. You know, the true author is continuing to write my story. And I think my encouragement to all of us here is that will you let the creator of the stars and the universe pick up the pen of your storybook of your life? Yeah. So you might be wondering, wow, Jason, is it because you're very holy? That's why like God love you, God choose you, that kind of thing. No, the contrary is true. So let me just very quickly show you this one video.
Who are we?
Nowadays, when people ask me, so Jace, what do you do? I travel countries as a motivational speaker, and I'm the author of the book, If You Only Live Twice. I share in this story how I was found in Cambodia 10 days after my accident with a death certificate. How the fact that I'm still breathing and walking is because the author of this story isn't actually Jason Yolt. The real author is Amazing Grace. The kind of grace that's faster than any high-speed chase, mightier than any flaming explosion, and most of all, greater than any shame. My name is Jason, and this is the other side of my story. I woke up 40 days later to my tired and worried parents. As my parents were cleaning, feeding, and just loving me, a thought hit me hard. What if I did not survive the accident? What if they learned that I could not share my secret struggle with them because I was ashamed? Or more so because I thought they'd be ashamed of me. It would kill them too. My secret struggle? I like men. It all started when I was 14, when I stumbled on some gay porn and got curious, fascinated, and eventually hooked. I had only liked girls before. I was confused by the growing attraction to guys. And I remember my journal entry that said, oh damn, I think I'm becoming gay. I hope it won't be worse. I'll stop it soon. I hope. When I came out to them, they told me that even though they don't approve of it, they loved me because I was their son, and that love wouldn't change for anything. My close friend, let's call him A, had an amazing life by most books. He was charming, sporty, and pretty popular amongst his friends. He was someone I loved and trusted entirely, so I decided to come out to him. He was quiet for a bit and told me, everything's gonna be okay lah, bro. What I didn't realize then was that the person he was saying those words to wasn't just me. What broke my heart was that I had to learn from mutual friends only after his funeral that A was struggling with being gay and that he took his own life. I had to ask myself, was I not a safe place for him to come out to? Would things have turned out different if he had someone or a community he could share all that pain, guilt, and shame with? Would he still be here if he didn't feel alone? I am grateful for my community. The first time I came out to anyone years ago was at church to my small group. I had never felt so nervous in my life. But as each of us let our walls come down, we realized that we're not so different after all. We're all broken in our own ways, all of us just doing our best with what we can. That was when I felt accepted, when I knew that God's design for family is where I belong. I saw the beauty of man and wife in marriage, in how they complemented each other, and it makes me believe it's how it's supposed to be. But I still continued to fool around, act on my desires, especially when I got lonely. It wasn't until 2017 when things changed. It was just like any other Sunday that God convicted my heart at church. There was no bright shining light, no powerful sermon or special worship arrangement. God's still small voice just spoke to my heart and asked if I was ever satisfied beyond the physical, the superficial. He asked me because He was calling me into the kind of love that's better than anything I've experienced before. As of the point of this video, I may not be free of these same-sex desires just yet, but these desires don't define me anymore since God's love took hold of my life. So my parents asked me, "Son, will you ever bring a boy home for Chinese New Year? What will others say?" I told them, "No lah, I may not be free from my desires, but I no longer want to pursue them. I can be open with others about my struggles, mainly because the true love of God has found me. God has set me free from guilt and self-condemnation, and I wish that for everyone."
I think Jesus needs another round of applause. Yeah, truly. So you talk about me being holy, that is far from the truth. I was struggling with same-sex attraction. So I shared in detail what my whole journey about SSA same-sex attraction was about yesterday. So I will not go into details today, but I'll just really briefly share that I felt like I was the furthest from being worthy of God's love. I felt like there was nothing I could do to earn His love and grace. So the further I went, I came so close to actually having a boyfriend, and finally, jump into the wrong kind of water, right? Jump into the wrong pool and to never come back. But it was at that point that really God just stopped me. And just in this moment of grace, I just finally came to admit that, wow, I really am so unworthy, but yet you still love me. Yet you still gave me a second chance, and against all odds. Like as I was compiling the storybook together, as I was interviewing different people and gathering all that information, I just realized that, wow, why would you do that? Why would you be so good? And it was then that I decided I wanted to come back to God. And I decided, to say no to my desires. That's one. I couldn't stop my desires. I think, Pastor Adrian actually shared something where like good yesterday. He said that because of our fallen nature, that we have already fallen into sin, and because of that, we have different temptations and desires. Satan can tempt us. And I think even Reverend Francis, Satan can tempt. Can tempt even like the holiest of the holiest. I mean, come on, Satan tempted Jesus. I mean, who are we not to be tempted, right? But I was so condemned by that. I was like, you know what? I'm never gonna come out of this desire, and I felt so unworthy and shameful. But yet, even at that point of time when the accident happened, I was in that sin. Yet God saved us. Saved me. So I decided, you know what, God, I decide I want to come. I want to get to know you. I want to get to know this really, truly good God who is so good and kind to me. So, 14 years old, that's what the video said, right? 14 years old was when I stumbled upon gay porn. And 14 years old was here. I was in 2004, I was in Bodri Secondary School. So this fat boy is me. I was so fat. Like, thank God I slimmed down a bit. It's very interesting because the year that I stumbled into gay porn was actually the year that my good friend, who's over here, invited me to a magic show. It's a scam lah. Just give heads up. He invited me to a magic show. So the magician was like very cool, right? He was like wearing a black robe. You know, he's like choo choo choo. And it was like super cool. And then suddenly from this black robe, he changed to this white robe, right? Like a priestly robe. And then there's like a gorgeous like background. And then he's talking about, ladies and gentlemen, we are body, soul, and spirit. You know. Body, soul, and spirit, and he talks about how we already have our body and soul, but our spirit, man or woman, is already dead because of the fall of Adam and Eve. So it's no fault of our own. We can blame Adam, but no, that's not the point. The point is that we have already fallen. And he said that, but the good news is that the spirit man can still live if you come to Jesus. So at that point of time, I was like, oh, basket, I cannot scam. But at that point of time, my friend, who was considered one of my best friends, my good friend, and my cousin, who I dearly adore and love, they were Christians. They are Christians also today. I mean, at that point in time, they're Christians. And I said, you know what? Just try. What do I have got to lose? You know? So I was like, okay. Just. So the pastor is like, yeah, the pastor / priest or that person in white, right? He's like, all right, if you want to receive Jesus, then just all you need to do is just raise your hand. Then it's like, okay, raise your hand. Like, everyone close your eyes and then raise your hand. So like, okay, just raise my hand. Then can I scam again and say, okay, all those who raise your hand, come to the front. And like, shit, okay. Okay, come to the front. Then after I call my cousin, like, it's there. I joined the club. I joined the cool club. Yeah. So I started going to church after a bit, and it was just nothing. It was just like, let me touch the water. Let me just test the water. Just try it. Let's go to church. You know what? There's no harm, right? So I did. I went to church a few times. And I think I just kept going. I mean, the people were nice, And then it happened. Yeah, my first encounter. When I said, when the pastor said, this body, soul, right? We have emotions, all these things. But there was this one worship service, and the song was "Come Holy Spirit." Like, come Holy Spirit, fall on me now. Wow. Yeah, and for some unknown reason, I just couldn't fathom. I started to tear. I was like, then my brain was like, why am I crying? Then I looked down on the floor, then my tears are on the floor. Look, this is wet. Also, my brain was still working, so logical, right? I couldn't understand what was happening, and today I look back and I say, okay, I understand now. That was my spirit. My spirit was moved, and that was the first of my encounter with the Lord, yeah. And so in that period of time, that's where I am today, Yeah, even then when I became a Christian, I had my ups and downs. Even at that point of time, I still struggled with SSA. And eventually I fell, and I had my accident, and I fell again. But I chased, I picked up and I chased, and all those different things. And I think I really truly am who I am today because it was the best decision of my life. I believe if I didn't raise my hand that day and I didn't come to the front, I wouldn't be here today. The touch of hell, right? Those scars that I have, it wouldn't be just 20% of my body. It would be not just my body, but my soul and my spirit would be in flames today. Yeah, it's a very dark spirit. Sorry, I'm usually a motivational speaker, so I don't talk about low things. But this is the truth. And this is my truth, and I hope to be able to share it to you today. So you also might be thinking, well, Jason, then if you're not chosen or holy, then you are sibei blessed lah. It's like, you God, sibei love you, sibei bless you, sibei choose you. Then I'm like, you know what? I can't deny that. I can't deny that. You can see the background. This was the cover of my old book, and people might be wondering, what's this actually? So on the left side of it, you see birds. And birds, kind of like crows and vultures, they kind of represent death. I mean, just culturally lah. But you see towards the end, as they transform into fish, which is a representation of Jesus. It's from death to life. And I say that, yes, I am blessed. And I like to joke also, like, I went through all of the accident, so that you don't have to. Make sense? Like, so I tell you the story, the impact. Like, I had my wake-up call, I had a very rude awakening. And I hope to be your rude awakening. I hope to have crashed into your life this afternoon, okay, this morning still. Crashed into your life this morning, give you an explosion, and like, boom. You get it? Okay, never mind. I hope to crash into your life and make you think for a second. Hey, if you only live once and then you die, am I ready for what's to come after that? So, I say I am blessed, and I definitely don't disagree. But I say that it's not just I who went through the accident so that you don't have to. But Jesus hung on that cross. Jesus died so that you don't have to. Not in your body, because we would die in our body someday. And bodies in our souls, but our spirit. Jesus died so that your spirit will not have to die. Not just today, but for eternity. So, sorry, the animation a bit sway. By the way, I did animation, all very nice, this morning. And then, spiritual attack. And the computers hang there, I have to redo it again. Anyway, so apologies for that. Blame the devil for everything, right? Anyway. If you can see behind, it says, If You Only Live Twice, which is the title of my book. So my story is, if you only live twice, if you only live twice. So people always think, it's Jason's story. But hey, wait. It's not if Jason only lived twice, it's if you only live twice. I believe God has brought me back here today on this stage, and actually on every stage. To, in that sense, give you that wake-up call, but also to remind you, to show you of His love. I am nobody but a product of His love. I am nothing. I will not be here if not for Jesus, if not for God, if not for His grace. And my purpose here today is for you. He has come down for you. I am come here for you, but He has come way before me for you. For God so loved the world, He gave. So today here, I would love to invite Reverend Francis, would you be able to support me? So I'm gonna open this time. Give you the opportunity to do what I did those years ago. If you don't yet know Jesus, if you don't yet know Jesus, and you want to come and experience what true love, true life really truly is, if you want to have the author of, the creator of the heavens and of the galaxies, to take the pen of your life to become the true author and finisher of your life and your faith, then I'm going to give you this opportunity to raise your hands. I will also scam you, ask you to come to the front later, so you heads up first. But yes, if you don't yet know Jesus, this is your opportunity. I'm going to ask you to raise your hands in a bit. I'm going to ask Reverend Francis, because he's more expert than me.
Hallelujah.
I'll have to learn from him. And secondly, if you already know Jesus, or you knew Jesus, but yet you're still a little far from the one who loves us, I'm going to invite you as well to come forward as well and receive ministry. I think the one more thing I want to invite you, the people I want to invite, is if you have something dead in your life, you have something that it's just something dead in your life, something that seems like it's gone. A broken relationship, a broken heart, something that needs mending and restoration and resurrection, which is coming back to life. I think what God has given me, His grace, is something called anointing, like what Christians say is anointing. If God has given you this thing, then you have the anointing to do it for others. So I'm saying not my power, but because emphasis on He has given it to me, it will be my honor to be able to pass it to you as well. So allow me and Reverend Francis to pray for you to bring back to life what was once dead.